Welcome to this lecture series in Chemical Reaction Engineering 1. Today we will see search for a rate equation. If you are provided with the data, how to search for rate equation. So in searching for rate equation and mechanism to fit the set of experimental data, we have to look into these two aspects. So we have to answer these two questions. So first, have we the correct mechanism and corresponding type of rate equation? So if you know the correct mechanism, you can guess about the kinetics of non-elementary reaction. If the reaction is elementary, then directly the kinetics is known because stoichiometric coefficient corresponds directly to the order of the reaction with the respective reactants. Second thing, once we have the right form of rate equation, do we have the best value of the rate constants in the equation? If you know the right form of the rate equation, it is first order, second order, or shifting order, first order reversible, whatever kind. So the rate constants involved in that, we have to find out the best values for that. Best values means you should be drawing proper best fit lines, and most of the times you see that the slopes, when we plot the integrated form of rate law in y is equal to mx or y is equal to mx plus c form, slope give us the final value of k. So we can calculate the value of slope, and from slope you can always calculate the value of k depending upon which order kinetics is that. If it is reversible, then you have to determine k1 as well as k2. For that we have the information about the equilibrium. The first question is difficult to answer. So in absence of data and then proper analysis of data, we don't know whether we have a correct mechanism, correct rate law, whatever we guess or whatever we are provided with. It's not easy to answer. Why this is so? Suppose you have the set of data and we wish to find out whether one of the families of the curves, this best fit curve may be, if I am talking about a raw concentration time data, not about the linearized form or integrated form, where most of the times you get a straight line fit, and that straight line fit, if it is the best fit, then your kinetics is tested or correct, which you are assuming, whether it is first order, second order, and so on. These things will be clear to you when we will solve many numerical problems based on these chapters. So concentration time data, if you plot, it may be a parabolic curve or cubic equation, hyperbola, or exponential decay kind of thing, each representing different rate family which fits the data better than the another. So the best fit we'll see that is the family of the fit, or you can say the quadratic fit, parabolic fit, exponential fit, or cubic equation, like that. This question cannot be answered simply. Neither can high-powered mathematical statistical methods help us in deciding on this. The one exception to this conclusion occurs when one of the families being compared is a straight line. So we are integrating the rate law and finally derive integrated form of rate law and express our results in y is equal to mx plus c or y is equal to mx form. For this situation, you can simply and consistently, fairly and reliably tell whether the straight line does not reasonably fit the data or it fits the data. Thus, we have what is essentially a negative test. When it is not fitting, then you have negative test. So you reject straight line family when there is sufficient evidence against it. Means if your data is not fitting on that particular integrated form of rate law for which you are testing for the kinetics, so you reject that. If it is fitting well, then you accept that. All the rate equation in this chapter were manipulated mathematically into a linearized form, integrated form of rate law, and finally linearized expression of this particular property of the family of straight lines that allows it to be tested and rejected or accepted depending on your best fit. Three methods are commonly used for the linearity of the set of points. So one is calculation of k rate constant from individual data points. So if you have rate equation and the rate constant can be found experimentally point by point, either by the integral method or differential method. So if you find out these values of the rate constant, if k values are nearly constant, the rate equation is considered to be satisfactory and k values are average. So if you consider, let us say, integrated form, simple first order, minus ln of 1 minus xa is equal to kt. So we will plot minus ln of 1 minus xa on y axis and t on x axis, line passing through origin. If it is a best fit line, then that k value from the plot you get directly. If you solve otherwise, that means minus ln of xa, you have xa versus t data. Okay, so find out minus ln of xa for given time, and k you can calculate minus ln of 1 minus xa divided by t. So for each point you get 1 k value, and if in Excel sheet you find out those values, if they are almost matching, may not match exactly, but within plus minus 5% error, then you can use average all those values and accept it as a k value. This same thing exactly we are doing by making a plot. So where you have your straight line passing through some number of data points, some points may lie on the right hand side, some points on the left hand side of that particular straight line representing plus minus error. So you have to place your scale properly to draw the best fit line, and you will get one slope, means one value of k. That is nothing but the averaged value. So you can find out all values of k, and if that k value is almost constant, lot of variation is not there, then it is accepted. Now the k values calculated this way are slopes of the lines adjoining individual points to the origin. Now for the same magnitude of the scatter on the graph, k values are calculated for the points near origin. So if you consider these points in near origin, okay, these points, and from the point near origin, one point is origin and one point is this point near origin. If you draw the straight lines, and these straight lines will have different slopes. Okay, so for each point you have considered with this time, and if you select the points near the origin and draw the straight line, you will see there is a large variation in the slopes. If you take these values calculated for the points far from the origin, so if these points are considered away from the origin and you draw straight lines, so this point which is away from the origin and origin, so you will draw such few straight lines, and if you compare here, there is small variation in the slopes and here large variation in the slope. So this fact can make it difficult to decide whether k is constant. Okay, so if you consider each point individually and one point as origin, so you will find near the origin and away from the origin, it gives different kind of variation. So you cannot easily decide or say something about constant value. So what is the best mean value? It is difficult to judge on that. Another point, this method is calculation of k from pair of data points. So you take pair of data point. So k values can be calculated from the successive pairs of experimental points. For large data scatter, however, for the points close to each other, this procedure will give widely different k values, from which k mean will be difficult to determine. If widely different means there is a large variation. So mean value of k is difficult to determine. Even if you determine that value will not be a best value or proper value. In fact, finding k mean by this procedure for the points located at equal interval on the x-axis is equivalent to considering only the two extreme data points while ignoring all other data points in between. So you have to consider all the data points, then only your k value will consist of the best fitness. Considering only two data points and ignoring other points will not be a proper way to find out k mean. This is a poor method in all respects and is not recommended for testing the linearity of the data or finding the mean values. So calculation of k from just pair of data points, means two data points, is not a good way to do it. So this is a very poor method and we will not use it. This method is not useful. So what is this representation of this method? This is integrated rate expression, whatever you have depending on the rate law and this time. And here from this point, if you consider consecutive points, so this is one point, this is next point, and this is next point with on time scale. So these are three consecutive points. 1, 2, 3, these are consecutive points. This is 4th point, 5th point, 6th, 7th, and so on. If you consider these two consecutive intervals, okay, and this is representing, if you connect this is representing one slope, this is representing another value of slope, and just considering these 2 points or 2 consecutive points, we will get k values, different k values, but there will be wide variation. So this method we never use. Then third method is graphical method of fitting data. So earlier methods do not require making a plot of the data to obtain k values. With the graphical method, the data are plotted and examined for deviations from linearity. So here you draw the best fit line. The decision whether a straight line gives a satisfactory fit is usually made intuitively by using good judgment when looking at the data. So you have to draw your best fit line properly, putting the scale on maximum possible number of points, and there should be, the scatter should be similar almost on both the sides of the scale. So that means plus and minus error is equally distributed on both the sides. When in doubt, we should take more data. If you are not getting a proper best fit with the number of points you have obtained and plotted, and if you have a doubt about that best fit, you get more data and plot that, so that finally you should be able to draw a line representing the best fit. The graphical procedure is probably the safest, soundest, and most reliable method for evaluating fit of the rate equation to the data, and should be used whenever possible. So this method is most widely used. Earlier two methods we do not use for our analysis. So we have to concentrate on this graphical method of fitting the data. Okay. Now we will start solving the problems from the exercise. So first few problems are straightforward and simple, and as you proceed further, more and more difficult problems we will have to solve. So here 3.1 first problem, minus Ra is equal to minus dCA by dt is equal to 0.2. Units are moles per liter per second. So moles per liter is concentration and time is represented in second. When Ca is equal to 1 mole per liter, this is the rate law. What is the rate of reaction when Ca is equal to 10? If you change this value. And note, it is given that the order of the reaction is not known. Okay, order of the reaction is not known. So the answer will be simply since the order of the reaction is not known means you don't know the concentration dependency. That means you are not provided with the enough information to find the rate of reaction at higher concentration. So when you don't know the concentration dependency, that means you don't know the order of the reaction. That means you don't know the rate law, and in absence of rate law, you cannot really say anything about at Ca is equal to 1 liter, and if you go 1 mole per liter, and if you this is moles per liter 10 times, what exactly will happen to the rate, that we cannot say. Temperature dependence must be, concentration dependence must be known. That means the rate law in the form minus Ra is equal to Kca raised to n, K should be known and n should be known. Second problem, liquid A decomposes by the first order kinetics in a batch reactor. 50% of A is converted in 5 minutes. How much longer it would take to reach 75% conversion? So first order kinetics, we know Kt is equal to minus ln of 1 minus Xa. For Xa is equal to 50%, Kt value is 0.693. It happens in 5 minutes. So K is equal to 0.693 divided by 5. Okay, K is equal to 0.693 divided by T is 5. So it is 0.1386. So for 75% conversion, this is not tau, it is T. So for 70% conversion, you use the same equation. T is equal to 1 upon K, I write on this side, 1 upon K into minus ln of 1 minus Xa. Xa is 75% now. If I substitute it here, K is known, so you can substitute 1 by K also from this, inverse of this, or 1 upon 0.1386 minus ln of 1 minus 0.75. So this comes out to be 10 minutes. So for this kinetics, what will be the rate law? It is first order. So minus Ra is equal to Kca, and K value is 0.1386. So rate law is minus Ra is equal to 0.1386 Ca. And with this equation, for 75% conversion, time taken will be 10 minutes. So you can find out this time required for any conversion. 60%, 70%, 80%, 90%, 100%, or 40%, 20%, whatever. This equation minus ln of 1 minus Xa is equal to Kt. If you know K, at any time you can find out this. And if you know the time required for any one value of conversion, you can find out K, because rate law is already defined, it is first order kinetics. Next problem, liquid A decomposes by second order kinetics. Now kinetics is second order. Minus Ra is equal to Kca square. If you solve in terms of conversion, because our data is in terms of conversion, again 50% of A converted in 5-minute run, and you have to find out for 75%. Same problem, same data. Now instead of first order, you are finding out for second order kinetics. So integrated form, we know Kca0 T is equal to Xa by 1 minus Xa. So Kca0, Xa is 0.5, 1 minus Xa is 0.5, Kca0 T is 1. Okay, that means Kca0 is equal to 1 by T. T is 5 minutes. So for 50%, T is 5 minutes. 1 by 5. So Kca0 value we find out, and that is 0.2. Okay. If Ca0 is known, you can find out K also. But here you can directly substitute KCA0, whatever may be the value of CA0, it is taken care in this. So product KCA0 we know, and for this case, this second order kinetics, it is 0.2. So from this again, T is equal to 1 by KCA0 into XA by 1 minus XA. So 1 by KCA0 value, 1 by 0.2, that is 5. XA is 0.75, 1 minus XA 0.25. Okay, and T is equal to 15 minutes. So you can see the rate constants are different. Here we have not determined the rate constant exactly, but the product KCA0 which we want in this expression. So for second order kinetics, 75% conversion will take place in 15 minutes. Next, a 10-minute experimental run shows that 75% of liquid reactant is converted to product by half order rate. Half order means n less than 1. Question is, what would be the fraction converted in half hour run? So in 10 minutes it is 75%. So in 30 minutes, what will be the conversion, that we have to find out. Here half order means n less than 1, and you know n less than 1, you have to find out the limiting value of T, beyond which you will not carry your integration, or even if you carry, the results will be absurd. So here the concentration will fall to 0 and then negative if we find out by the expression. So the concentration cannot be negative, that means we need to carry out the integration for the value less than this. So we need not carry out the integration for T greater than this particular value. This we have seen in the derivation. T equal to this, here concentration will be 0 and conversion will be 1. Beyond that, T greater than this particular value, concentration term you will get negative if you calculate by mathematical expression, and conversion will be greater than 1. Both are absurd result, not possible. So we have minus R is equal to CA0 into dXA by dt, that is equal to KCA raised to half. Okay. Now K CA0 raised to half, 1 minus XA raised to half. CA is equal to CA0 into 1 minus XA. This CA0 is transferred here in the denominator. Okay. So K CA0 raised to half in the denominator, you will get CA0 raised to this. If we cancel out with this, you get CA0 raised to half. So K by CA0 raised to half, and integral dt 0 to t is t simply. So on right hand side you get K by CA0 raised to half into t. On this side, if you transfer this variable 1 minus XA raised to half, dXA by 1 minus XA raised to half between integral 0 to XA. So if you solve this, we can write this as 1 minus XA raised to minus half. Minus half plus 1 is plus half. So this will remain in the numerator. 1 minus XA minus half plus 1 is plus half, divided by plus half. So divided by plus half means this 2 will be transferred in the numerator into 1 upon derivative of this means minus 1. So you get minus sign. And if you substitute the limits, so this 2 minus 2 into 1 minus XA raised to half you will get after substituting the limits. Okay. Integral is minus 2 into 1 minus XA raised to half. So with upper limit same value, minus minus plus, and this XA is equal to 0 means you are left with 2 into 1 means 2. So with plus sign. So we are writing this as 2 minus 2 into 1 minus XA raised to half. What you obtain is minus 2 into 1 minus XA raised to half plus 2. So this plus value I have written outside. So in 10 minutes the conversion is 75%. Okay. So here K by Ca0 raised to half K by Ca0 raised to half. If you substitute this is equal to 0.75 here and solve, okay, that will be transferred on this side. So you will get KCA0 raised to half is equal to 0.1 simply. So in order to satisfy the condition, now we know this value, it will not change. Okay, K, this value K by Ca0 raised to half is 0.1, which we have got when I substitute time is 10, and if you substitute this Xa is equal to 0.75, so this becomes, bracket becomes 1, so 1 by 10 is 0.1. We will test the condition t greater than or equal to Ca0 raised to n, 1 minus n by 1 minus n into k. Okay, so this n is half, so Ca0 raised to half, 1 minus n, again it is half, so it will be written as 2 into Ca0 raised to half and this divided by k. Okay, so for n is equal to half we can express this as this, and you have to check t, if it is equal to this particular value then there will be complete conversion or Ca is equal to 0, and beyond that you will get conversion more than 1 and concentration negative. So t should be greater than this 2 we have written as it is, and Ca0 raised to half by k. Okay, so k by Ca0 raised to half is 0.1, so 2 by 0.1, this is 20. So this is the limiting value. We must not continue the integration beyond time t is equal to 20 minutes. So question is, for half an hour find the conversion. So in 20 minutes conversion is 1. So in 30 minutes also it will be 1, in 60 minutes also it will be 1. There is no point in carrying out the reaction further. Same thing is established here. For different values of Xa, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6 up to complete conversion 1, I calculate this bracket. Okay, substitute Xa is equal to 0, Xa is equal to 0.2 and calculate all these values. So when you calculate this and you know this K by Ca0 raised to half is 0.1. So this value divided by 0.1 is the corresponding time t. Okay. So for each value, so for 0.2 it is 0.211 divided by 0.1 means multiplied by 10. So decimal will be shifted to 0.111. Here 0.45, 4.5, 0.375, 7.35, 1, 10, 1.106, 11.0. 5, 6 or 6. Okay, this you can write 11.06. For Xa is equal to 1 you get this value as 2, and 2 by 0.1 is 20. That means at time t equal to 0 conversion 0, that is the starting point. At 2.11 minute it is 0.2. At 4.508 minutes conversion is 0.4. 7.35 minutes it is 0.6. After 10 minutes it is 0.75. This is the point which is given to us. So this exercise we are doing just to tally and to understand well the concept of this limiting value of time. And At 20 minutes it is equal to 1. So at this value. Beyond this value, if you calculate, XA will be greater than 1 and concentration is negative. So you will not carry out integration beyond that. So question is after half an hour. So that means in 20 minutes it is completely converted. So you take 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever. It is completely converted only. That means reaction is over. Next problem 3.5. In a homogeneous isothermal liquid polymerization, 20% of the monomer disappears in 34 minutes. 20% disappears in 34 minutes. That means conversion is 20% or XA is equal to 0.2 in 34 minutes. For initial monomer concentration of 0.04 and also for 0.8 moles per liter. So initial concentration, if you start with 0.8, for 20% conversion it takes 34 minutes. If you start with low concentration 0.04, again for 20% conversion it takes exactly 34 minutes. What rate equation represents the disappearance of the monomer? So what we observe here is conversion is not dependent on initial concentration. It is independent of initial concentration. That means definitely it is a first order reaction, because in integrated form of first law, minus ln of 1 minus XA is equal to KT. Okay, it is independent of initial concentration, because the equation minus dCA by dt is Ca0 into dXA by dt, that is equal to K Ca0 into 1 minus XA, and Ca0 cancels out on both the sides and then we integrate. So we know for first order reaction it is independent of initial concentration, and from the given data it is clearly mentioned that it is not dependent on initial monomer concentration. So we are sure that it is first order rate law. So minus ln of 1 minus XA is equal to KT. For 80% conversion, for 20% conversion, that means 1 minus XA is 1 minus 0.2, 0.8. So from this we will get 0.2231, and K divided this side divided by T is 34. So we get rate constant as 0.00656. So what is the rate law? How will you write the rate law? Rate law will be minus RA is equal to 0.00656 Ca. This is the rate law. Next 3.6. After 8 minutes in a batch reactor, reactant with initial concentration 1 mole per liter is 80% conversion. Conversion is 80%, XA is equal to 0.8 after 8 minutes. After 18 minutes, the conversion is 90%. So XA is 0.9. Find the rate equation to represent this reaction. So we don't have any idea about it, you have to check one by one. So we'll test it for first order and also we'll test it for second order. So to test it for first order, minus ln of 1 minus XA is equal to KT. So 1 by K is T by minus ln of 1 minus XA. So you can find out from these points K values. So you substitute this as 0.8 and T as 8 minutes. Then substitute this as 0.9 and T as 18 minutes. You get two different values of K for these cases. And if first order case this is satisfied, then K values should be same, they should match. If not, you can test it for second order. Second order is KCA0T is equal to XA by 1 minus XA. This integrated form we know. So you can write 1 by KCA0 as T into 1 minus XA by XA. So substitute again for 80%, time is equal to 8 minutes. For 90%, time is equal to 18 minutes. So substitute this 0.8 and 8, 0.9 and 18, and you find out this 1 upon kCa0. If 1 upon kCa0 is same for both time values from the given data, then you say that this is matching. So we have taken these points. 8 minutes conversion is 80%, 18 minutes conversion is 9%. XA by 1 minus XA you calculate as 4 by 9, and 1 upon kCa0, this 2 and 2, it is matching exactly. That means given kinetics is second order kinetics. Before that we have checked it for first order also. So for first order, minus ln of 1 minus XA, you have to find out these values, and 1 upon k is t by minus ln of 1 minus XA. This comes out to be 4.97 and 7.817. That means these values are not matching here. So first order kinetics is ruled out. Whereas for second order kinetics, these values 1 upon kCa0 is 2 and 2 same. That means second order rate law, this assumption is valid, and you can write the rate equation as minus Ra is equal to kCa square. Okay, 1 upon kCa0 is equal to 2. One upon kCa0 is equal to 2. Ca0 is equal to 1. Okay, Ca0 is equal to 1. So what will be the value of k? 1 upon k is 2. That means k is equal to 0.5. So minus Ra is equal to 0.5 into Ca square is your rate law. Next problem. This is a problem on gambling habit. So this man named Magoo is a man of habit. For instance, his Friday evenings are all alike, predictable. Into the joint in this week's salary of $180, you can say rupees 180, whatever. So if he steadily gambling at 2 up, this is the name of that gambling center or casino, 2 up, for 2 hours. If he plays there, gambles there for 2 hours, then home to his family, leaving behind 45. Okay, he goes to home leaving behind $45. His betting pattern is predictable. He always bets in the amounts proportional to cash in his hand. So rate is equal to some constant k proportional to cash. Cash means, let us say, some concentration value equivalent to that. So it is directly proportional, k into c, and his losses are also predictable at the rate proportional to cash in hand. This week he received a raise in salary. Got more salary, so he played for 3 hours, but as usual went home with 135. So in 2 hours of gambling with salary of 180, he lost 45 and taken home $135. When he received rise, he played for 3 hours but lost again only 45 and taken, we don't know this loss exactly, we have to determine, but he has taken home 135. So in terms of our rate law, what we can say is this Ca0 is 180. Okay, time is 2 hours, and Ca, what is the amount finally he is taking home, is 135. Then New salary we don't know, this CA0 we don't know, but he played for 3 hours and again CA is same 135. So we have to find out this new value of CA0 and from that we'll find out how much rise he has got. Okay. So rate of loss, or you can say rate of consumption, is first order proportional to cash in hand. So minus RA is equal to K into CA kind of thing. So he lose 45. So CA0 is equal to 180. He lost 45 in 2 hours. So CA, what he is taking home is 135. So this is equal to initial concentration and this is unreacted or unspent, we can say here. In terms of reaction, we say this CA is the unreacted material still present, and here in terms of money it is unspent money which is not lost yet. This $45 is already lost in 2 hours. So KT, K into T is 2 hours minus ln of 1 minus XA, that is nothing but minus ln of CA by CA0. We know CA 135, CA0 is 180, so you can calculate K and K comes out to be 0.1438. So his betting habits are exactly same. So minus RA is equal to KCA kind of thing will be followed and this K will be same. Okay. After he gets the rise in salary, we want to find out this CA0, that is his initial salary. CA, finally he takes home 135 only. So in this equation KT, K is known now 0.1438, T is 3 hours instead of 2 hours, minus ln of CA by CA0, CA same value 135 and CA0 is unknown value which you have to calculate. If you solve this, you get CA0 is equal to 208. So initially his salary was 180, in the next week he got rise, so new salary is calculated 208 and the difference is 28. So the rise in salary he got is $28 only. Next, find the overall order of the irreversible reaction. 2H2 plus 2NO giving you N2 plus 2H2O. Okay. 2 moles of hydrogen reacts with 2 moles of nitrous oxide to give you 1 mole of nitrogen and 2 moles of water. From the following constant volume data. So we have constant volume data using equimolar amounts of hydrogen and nitric oxide. So this NO and hydrogen, 2 moles reacts with 2 moles. Equimolar amounts we are using. So we are provided with this data, half-life in seconds and total pressure data. Okay. So if you start with total pressure 200, half-life is 265. If you start with 240, half-life is 186. Total pressure 280, half-life is 115 and so on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 data points are given. From half-life method, we can find out the overall order. So linearize this, ln of T half is equal to ln of this complete constant term plus 1 minus n into ln of CA0. So we have to plot this. Y is ln of T half, this is calculated here, 1 minus ln of CA0. So you can convert it into CA0 or you can go ahead with pi 0 value. Rate constant will have different units in terms of pressure if you go in terms of concentration, in terms of concentration. But we are interested in finding out the overall order. Find the overall order of the irreversible reaction. So we need not bother about same thing. Okay. So pi 0. ln of pi 0. So these 5 data points we have. If you plot this, okay, on y axis ln of t half and ln of Ca0, t half ln, and this is ln of Ca0, we are using pi 0 equivalent form. We are interested in finding out only overall order, not determining k. If you determine k, in this case with these values, it will be in terms of pressure units. You can always convert into concentration unit using PV is equal to nRT. That is nothing but PA is equal to CART. PV is equal to nRT, N by V is Ca, Na by V is Ca, PA is equal to CRT. Okay, we'll see this also in the next problems. Now we are interested only in finding out the overall order from half-life data. So we have been provided half-life data in terms of total pressure, and that total pressure is pi 0 means initial total pressure. So each run is different run. Equivalent Ca0 you can always find out. But as I told you, we are interested in finding overall order, so it doesn't matter if you continue with pressure units or concentration units. So with initial total pressure of 200, you get 265 and so on. So the best fit line here. This best fit line is drawn in Excel. Okay, linear fit, and you get the equation directly in Excel. So slope is negative, so minus 2.271x plus 17.62. This is y-intercept, and magnitude of slope is 2.271. You can see this is the best fit line drawn in Excel. If you look at this best fit line, it is only one point is lying on this line. So best fit line is not the line passing through maximum number of points. Here only one point is fitting here. This one point is just below this. Okay. Similarly, this point is just above this. So by eye judgment, you can say this plus minus error is compensated. Similarly, here this is at the same distance. This is almost at the same distance. For this point and this point, plus minus error is compensated. So this straight line with this equation fits the data well. Same equation you can obtain if you use the method of least squares also for this particular data. Okay. So here 1 minus n is minus 2.271. Intercept is this. We are not interested in this value. We want only n. So n is equal to 1 plus this, that means 3.271. So overall order of the reaction is 3.271.